City of Riverbank regular City Council and Local Redevelopment Authority Board meetings. Today is Tuesday, September 11th, 2018. The time is 6 p.m. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Fred Wood, pastor of Riverbank Holiness Church at 3718 Patterson Road. I also live here. That's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
And guess what else? I teach here, and my superintendent's here tonight, so honor Dr. Kemp for being here too. Let's bow our heads for a short word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come to you in the holy name of the Lord Jesus, and we're thankful, Lord, for this council, and thankful, Lord, how they've worked together. We know the election's coming up, and there's going to have to be some changes made, and we're praying that your will would be done regarding this council that's coming up. But Lord, tonight, let your perfect will be done. Give them guidance. Give them godly wisdom to know how to direct our city. And we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Council Authority Member Leanne Jones-Cruz.
Here.
Council Authority Member Cal Campbell.
Here.
Council Authority Member District 2 Cindy Fossey.
Here.
Vice Mayor Chair Darlene Barber Martinez.
Here.
Mayor Chair Richard D. O'Brien.
Here. There'll be no changes to the agenda. Any council or authority member or staff who has direct conflict of interest on any scheduled agenda item to be considered is to declare that conflict at this time. Seeing none, we'll start off with the first presentation, which is the Commendation Certificate of Achievement to the Stanislaus County Summer Reading Challenge winner. And if I could have Garrett and his family come on up, and Miss Vicki from the library. Unless you want to take pictures, you can do, but we have a professional photographer tonight, okay? Come on, and you're Garrett, come on up, you stand right here. This is a great accomplishment. Okay, everyone up? All right. For this last summer, there was a challenge across Riverbank, Stanislaus County, as there always are, from the library. And this year we have a winner from the city of Riverbank. And this is Garrett Wadsworth. And I want to congratulate you for the books that you read. How many did you read?
I don't know, but it's pretty hard to count them.
Wow. And you're a mathematician. My goodness. All right. Well, this is a commendation of achievement presented to you, Garrett, for the 2018 Stanislaus County Summer Reading Challenge winner for your commendable accomplishment of reading a total of 56 hours during the summer months of May 22nd through August 7th, 2018. Congratulations on your outstanding achievement, and I signed it today. And I want to thank you for doing that. That is an accomplishment in itself. So this right here, if you'll hold that and hold it next to your dad so he can get a good picture, and everybody's in it. You got everybody in it? Yeah. There we go. All right. Do you want to say anything to the audience?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much again. And congratulations. You guys must be very proud. Your turn next year, right? There we go. Hey, what's your name?
Savannah.
Savannah. All right. And you are?
Haley.
Haley. And you are?
Amy.
Amy. And you are? Mark. Mark. Good to meet you, Mark. And you are Vicki.
Oh, yes, I am.
All right. Thank you very much. Again. Okay. Before we start on item 2, which will be a presentation by Dr. Kemp, I just want to let everybody know here that the audio is not the best today, so just bear with us. It's on for those on YouTube and the Charter and AT&T. So we have it going through one of the speakers, and it may become distorted. So, Dr. Kemp, if you will, please. Gee, I wonder what you're going to talk about.
That's absolutely correct. We're going to talk about G. Well, G's gone, so Garrett's gone, but I just want to say congratulations to Garrett also for his accomplishment. So thank you again, Mayor O'Brien, City Council, City Manager Mr. Scully, for allowing me to share a little bit about our district today. Today, I'm just going to give you just a brief history of how we got to this point, and then tell you a little bit about Measure G and what that will do for our schools. I'm not campaigning, I'm just providing information, by the way. So all the materials that you have in front of you are just information related to Measure G. So what happened was, about a couple of years ago, our district began a process when we analyzed our facilities, and we had a number of conversations with a lot of our stakeholders at the school sites, parents and so forth. At the end of that, we identified about $55 to $60 million worth of potential projects. I call them wants and needs, as identified by the school sites. Our board adopted a facilities master plan in the fall of 2017. So about a year ago, our board adopted a facilities master plan that had those $55 to $60 million worth of projects on the list. The plan was what it was. It was a plan, but it did not have a funding plan that's attached to those particular wants and needs that would upgrade our facilities. So last year, last school year, this actually calendar year, in June, the board authorized Measure G to be put on the November 6th ballot. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Measure G today, and once again, what that will do for our schools. Essentially, let's see, there we go. So Measure G essentially is a general obligation bond, and this particular bond, we have this unique opportunity to say that this bond would not increase the tax rate for the citizens of Riverbank. The reality is our school district doesn't encompass all of the city of Riverbank, as you're aware, and also we go out to some of the county areas as well. So the citizens that live in our attendance area would be impacted by this particular tax rate extension. Once again, this is a unique opportunity for us because we can say a tax rate extension. The bond would be for $19.1 million that would be committed toward, once again, repairing and upgrading our school facilities. This would not increase, once again, the tax rate. So once again, one of the reasons we're not campaigning and we're just providing information is because of this factor. It's not going to increase tax rate. In fact, if this is passed, the tax rates for the people that live in our district will still go down. So, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. So you ask why? Our schools they're kept in good condition, but they're old. And you're aware of just like any house, whenever you have a house, there are certain things that go along with the house where you need to always be conscious about: painting, roofs, just the infrastructure of the house in general you need to put money into. So we're at that time. Our oldest school site was built in 1941. Then we had a few that were built, I think, in the 50s area. Our most recent school site, Mesa Verde, is actually 10 years old. So that's a young one, about 8 years old. Started construction about 10 years ago, and it's actually out there in Oakdale, as you're aware. But all of our school sites we anticipate would benefit from the bond. And once again, to upgrade our facilities are the main part. The other part that I think that the community would be interested in, if this bond is passed, that would give us a pot of money where we could leverage some state dollars and maximize more of the funds. So even though our local contribution might be 19.1, we could apply for state funds that's intended usually to match the local funds, and that way, even though our community might put in 19 million, with the state match, it would be over 30 million, so we could do more to improve our facilities. So we're really excited about that. I don't know who voted for it, but in 2016, we as a state passed Proposition 51. And Proposition 51 allocated $7 billion to K through 12 schools throughout California. Additional $2 billion going to community colleges. Riverbank is not going to get any of those funds because we're not really prepared in order to provide the local match to go along with those. So one of the things that we're trying to do is position ourselves also to to access those state dollars that are usually approved by the voters. So what would Measure G actually do? You have a list there. I won't go through them, but in general, you're talking about school security. You're talking about plumbing and the leaky roofs. Our roofs are old. I told people about 4 or 5 years ago, we had no roof problems. It's only when it started raining that we figured out we had roof problems. But we've been doing enrollment projections, and we're at a good place right now because more kids, more students have been coming to our school districts over the last 2 or 3 years than before. That's not the case with a number of school districts throughout our state, but it puts us in a great position because we get funded based on student enrollment, and students are coming to our district. The issue, however, is we don't have space to house all of our students if we continue to increase at the same rate. We're projected to be over capacity is the term we're utilizing at our elementary school sites. Just an example, California Avenue over there on the state streets, 2 years ago we were about at 580 students. Right now we opened up the building with about 660, and you can count on about for every 25 to 30 students an additional classroom. We're about at capacity at California Avenue right now, and the reality is we need some more space there. The other thing that you'll notice is a lot of our schools have portables, a lot of portables at a lot of our sites. Our intention would be to get rid of some of those portables and replace those with matching classrooms. So we have a lot of portables at various sites throughout. And then, of course, athletics is always something that you're looking for. So another feature of Measure G that I think the voters will be interested in, like it says here, the contribution from every household would be about 5.5 cents for every $100 of assessed valuation. I like to put it another way and talk in hundreds of thousands. I'm from California. So for every $100,000 of house, it would cost a taxpayer about $55 per year. Currently, because of a bond we passed reality is it was the Riverbank Elementary District. We're the Riverbank Unified School District. But in '93, the voters passed a bond that basically is impacting the taxpayers right now to the tune of about $105 per $100,000 of assessed valuation. So if you have a $400,000 house, you're paying over $400 a year because of that. That's going to go away this year in 2020. It was a 25-year bond, so 93. If the voters pass this, instead of paying $105 or $106 per year per $100,000 of assessed valuation, they will pay about $55. So once again, it's going down either way. It's just how much it goes down. And obviously, the information here is if we want to keep upgrading our schools and having schools that are good for our kids and many kids to come, then Measure G is a way of getting additional funds to go toward our schools. So the last part that usually citizens are concerned about is how do you make sure that the money is going toward its intended purpose? That's where you form a bond oversight committee, because this is what they call a Prop 39 bond. Means that we need 55% in order to pass it, and that 2/3. One of the strings that's attached to a Prop 39 bond is you have to have an oversight committee. So if this is passed, we need to form a committee, and the committee needs to meet to oversee the expenditures, and that's part of the expectations there. So this really concludes the Measure G presentation. I just wanted the City Council to be aware, appreciate all the support you've given for the school district. I think we had someone that visited our school site yesterday. Yes, that's right. And we probably had some police, or might have gone out to Mesa Verde earlier today, I think it was. So I just really appreciate all you've done to already contribute to our school sites. And once again, feel free to share any information about Measure G. I've handed out handouts to you, and if people have questions too, we welcome those questions. We definitely want to make sure that we have an informed citizenry when it comes to Measure G.
I just have a quick question. How are you putting the word out?
the decision was made not to do campaigning with it. Decision was made that we're just going to get information out, and how we're getting it out. I'm available to go to any community group, or we can have staff go to any community group. I know we shared with the chamber a couple weeks ago. We're going to the Women's Federated Club that's next week, and City Council this week. So if you have other groups that you think might be interested in hear about it, feel free. We have those flyers that you have in front of you and available at our school sites, and we'll leave them at different places in the city. If you need some, let me know. Once again,
You're not going to have your students go out and hand them out?
it's not something that we're actively pursuing right now. Although any citizen can do that. So if citizens want to do that, including parents or coaches who might want to encourage that, that's up to them as individual citizens, right? We could provide that information. So you notice nowhere on the flyer does it say vote yes for Measure G. We figure it's a community decision. If the community wants to invest in our schools, so be it. If not, that's just a decision that the community makes. Right. Good question.
Best of luck.
We appreciate it.
For Dr. Camp? We wish you well.
Boy, this is the easiest meeting I've had in a long time. No. No, thank you.
For the fourth grade.
No, that's intimidating. Thank you.
Public comment, no action can be taken. At this time, member of the public may comment on any item not appearing on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council LRA Board. Individual comments will be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes per person. Each person may speak once during this time. Time cannot be yielded to another person. Under state laws, matters presented during public comment period cannot be discussed or acted upon. For record purposes, state your name, city of residence. Please make your comments directly to the City Council LRA Board.
Good evening, Donna Kenny, staff member. I just wanted to say that some of our citizens may not know that on September 11th in 1922, Riverbank became a city. So happy 96th birthday, Riverbank. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Don.
William Johnson, Veterans Advisory Commission for the Board of Supervisors, Stanislaus County, District 1, Oakdale resident. I came to you guys about a month ago and requested to have our meeting here on the 24th. The city, as usual, is very generous, and we're having it at the Boy Scout Hall on the 24th at 5:30. I would like to personally invite all of you to come. Like I said, the last time I was here, a lot of things have happened since I held my first meeting here about 3 years ago. We've got the new building. We got a vet van program. In fact, I'm driving 2 vets to Palo Alto on Friday for their appointments. We pick them up, we take them to their appointments, we bring them back right to their house. So, and there's other things going on in the county for veterans. I know Riverbank's always been good to their veterans, especially the mayor, who is an honored vet. So anyway, I just wanted to invite you to that. It's going to be at the Boy Scout Hall. And thank you very much for allowing us to do the meeting there. Any questions?
Thank you. Good luck on that meeting, and I will do I'll do what I can. The 24th is a Monday?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What time was that again?
5:30.
Any further public comment? Seeing none, I move forward on to the consent calendar consisting of item 3A, waive reading, item 3B, approval of August 28th, 2018 City Council Local Redevelopment Authority minutes. Item 3C, a resolution adopting a formal financial policy and procedure for return checks. Item 3D, acceptance of payment restoration project 2018 conducted by VSS International, Inc. for a total within budget cost of $360,996.25 and authorization to file a notice of completion. Item 3E, acceptance of the wastewater treatment plant entrance road improvement project conducted by Garrett Thompson Construction, Inc., at a total within budget cost of $87,190, and the authorization to file a notice of completion. Is there anyone wishing to pull any of these items for discussion? Seeing none, anyone from the public having to discuss any of the items? Seeing none, I bring it back for consideration by the council.
I make a motion, we approve the consent calendar.
I second the motion.
With a motion to approve and a second for the consent calendar.
Council Authority Members Fosse,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Jones Cruz,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chair Barbara Martinez,
Yes.
Mayor Chair O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 4.1, second reading by title only and adoption of proposed ordinance number 2018-006, amending the downtown specific plan, section 2.3.4, signage, by repealing this section in its entirety and substituting it with a new section 2.3.4, signage.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council. As Council may recall, this matter was discussed at length at the last meeting. It's relating to a push from the community and the Planning Commission's recommendation to change certain sections regarding not only allowances for downtown signage, but also electronic signage. And we'd be happy to go over those details if Council would like. Otherwise, the ordinance remains as was presented.
Anyone from the public wish to comment on item 4.1?
I have, the downtown Pacific plan and the downtown and the general plan kind of don't go together with the signage, but with the downtown Pacific plan, my understanding is you guys are putting these, where they're gonna place these sandwich signs and stuff on one-way passing, they're just gonna apply to every business downtown. My question is, what about the businesses that it would not apply to based on a state law? Are they still gonna have to go by the state law? Are they gonna, and I'm talking about cannabis, the marijuana shops, because they have their own rules in that marijuana law about where they can and cannot put those signs. And some of the areas that you have put in this amendment, they wouldn't be able to put their signs there. But I don't see anything in the amendment that refers to that.
As in any other case, the state law will trump anything in conflict with our local laws, excuse me.
So where it's more restrictive, we'll have to follow the more restrictive guideline. So the answer is no, they won't be able to do that.
Any further public comment on item 4.1? Seeing none, I bring it back to the council for consideration.
I move that we accept item 4.1 as stated.
I second that motion.
With motion to approve item 4.1 and a second.
Council Members Fosse,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Jones Cruz,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Barbara Martinez,
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 6.1, direction on League of California Cities Annual Conference Resolution.
Thank you, Mayor. The General Assembly will be considering two resolutions this year that were submitted prior to the July 15th deadline. For those who haven't been to the conference, essentially what this is when the League of California Cities convenes all of the communities that are in attendance, essentially take a vote at the end of the conference on major policy issues that are supposed to affect the entire state. What that ends up doing is it provides direction to the League of California Cities organization to follow through with usually requests of the legislature to change law that's consistent with the interests of California municipalities. This year, there are 2 resolutions, as I mentioned. I'll step through them here briefly. The first resolution calls upon the League to respond to the increasing vulnerabilities of local municipal authority, control, and revenue, and explore the preparation of a ballot measure and/or constitutional amendment that would further strengthen local democracy and authority. So, to distill that down into English, what it essentially means is cities believe very strongly, in fact, this council's taken this position many times, that local control is the best and most pure form of democracy, and therefore cities should essentially be left to govern themselves with regard to issues that are local in nature. So an example of that would be we would not be excited about having the state come in and dictate to us where we can, let's say, build a city hall, for example, or how we choose to manage our water system, or how we choose to staff public safety. Those are community decisions that should be dictated by the community through their elected officials. And unfortunately, what happens a lot of time in the state legislature is that the state, in the opinion of many cities, oversteps their authority and begins to sort of dictate local policy to cities. So what this resolution is essentially trying to do is it's telling the league, look, this is happening far too often, and the consequences are very serious when they do. And so what the resolution would essentially call for is have the league prepare a ballot measure that would amend the California Constitution to very clearly disallow the legislature from overstepping their authority into areas where the local government is best suited to deal with that policy. The state still retains their ability to rule on statewide issues as they should, and that is essentially how our system of government was set up to begin with. So it's a little redundant to what we're always sort of arguing about with the state, but it's a way, I think, to more clearly bring to the public this issue and have them sort of rule on the matter. So that's resolution number 1. Resolution number 2 is much more specific and different. I can't say that I've ever written a staff report on rodenticides or pesticides for rats, but that's in a nutshell what it is. The resolution seeks to have the League of California Cities declare its commitment to support the repeal and preemption in California Food and Agriculture Code that prevents local governments from regulating pesticides. So essentially, currently, the state just has global standards for pesticides in California, and it has the things that you can use and you cannot use, the licensure that you must have to be able to use those pesticides, and they dictate based on health and safety standards what you're allowed to use from San Diego all the way up to the top of the state. The motivation behind this resolution is the city of Malibu have a problem with something that's called anticoagulant rodenticides. What that essentially is a pesticide that interferes with the blood clotting of the animal and causes death by excessive bleeding. The concern from that community is they don't believe that it's environmentally friendly. They're concerned that sometimes house pets get a hold of a rodent and eat it, and sometimes they die as a result of this pesticide that's used. And they want the ability locally to be able to dictate what is okay to use in their community and not use. And so essentially what it would do is it would repeal this section, and so every city would have the ability to pick and choose essentially what types of pesticides they use. They're using this rodenticide as sort of an example, but the implications are pretty wide. You could make decisions about what kinds of things you use and don't use. So it's a little bit of a local control issue too. The question more broadly is that really a local control issue, or is that something that's best dealt with at the state? And that's something that's up for debate. So those are in a nutshell, the 2 resolutions. The item is our voting delegate is Mayor O'Brien, and so the recommendation is that the council give him some direction on how the council feels on these 2 resolutions.
Well, I have a question about the rodent pest control. So right now, currently, there is no, any city has to use this particular stuff, or?
They don't have to, but they can't prohibit its use. So it's legal in California, and if a private property owner with some land has a problem with rodents and decides that they'd like to use this particular pesticide to treat the problem, then they're more than welcome to, because it's compliant with state law. If that was repealed, Riverbank or any other city could say, we're not really comfortable with the use of that particular pesticide, so we're going to outlaw that in our community. You can't use it.
Okay, thank you.
Although I don't really approve of poisoning animals, even if they are rodents, that is an effective way, especially in the Central Valley where you have a large number of rodents. I know the state of California is coming to our area to hunt, trap, and poison the large number of rodents that we have. It's very effective use when you have levees that are full of either rats or ground squirrels that burrow in and can weaken the levees. So it's, although I really don't want to cause unnecessary pain for any animal, it is most effective. So whatever you guys decide on that, I have to chair the committee tomorrow on this issue, and to me, it's again, it would be local control if they so desire, but in doing so, they have to understand what the consequences are. And I don't think a lot of them understand the consequences, at least not in that committee. How about local control? Who likes local control?
I'll go ahead and speak. I just think no matter what the issue is, and I don't think it's just specific to this rodent poison, although that is their example, I think we need to stand united on local control myself. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I don't want to have to give up local control, and even with this pesticide issue, if we decide that we want to join the city of Malibu, I mean, there's just like so many different items that we'd have to choose, and I just think it would complicate issues more, probably, but still with local control.
I want local control also. I heard what the mayor said, and I agree with him about the problem with the rodents, but it gives us the opportunity, if we do have to use this particular chemical, we could if it was that severe. But I would rather look for a chemical, if we needed that was a little bit more tolerant with how it killed the animals. And I think there's something else out there that might work, but at the same time, if it didn't, we could always, if it's at local control, rescind it if all of a sudden 10,000 rats were running over our city, and that was the only way to do it. But I like the idea of the local control.
Those are two issues. One is a statewide measure for local control, and then a statewide repeal of a law, a statute that allows for use with certification on this rodent side. Any input from the public? Yeah, come on up.
I'll just throw this at you. I don't know right or wrong, but my brother-in-law was in pest control for a while. He's no longer there. He's a police officer. He got delivered from pest control. But the license for pest control is from the state. So is that going to open a whole nother can of worms that each city has to have certification for pest control? It's just a question.
Potentially, yes.
All right, I believe I have your guidance. There's not a vote, that is just guidance, isn't it? Yeah. Direction, I've been directed. Local control it is. All right, item 7, staff comments.
Thank you, Mayor. So firstly, I just wanted to apologize to the community. I mistakenly stated at the last meeting that our Crossroads West workshop was going to be on the 5th. For a variety of reasons, that date didn't work out. It is now scheduled for a week from today, Tuesday the 18th. Donna, is that 6 o'clock? Just to kind of make sure that the expectations are clear. This is a workshop on Crossroads West. It's not a public hearing. It's not a debate or an open forum. This is an education session primarily for the council and commission and community on where we're at with the project, where we're at with the environmental impact report. We're preparing this project for public hearings in the fourth quarter of this year, and so we are wanting to get everybody up to speed on the latest with regard to the project, which is very complicated. We've spent a lot of time, effort, and resources on it. So please attend that meeting if you're able, and look forward to some good information. Thank you.
Councilmember Fossey?
Thank you, Mayor. There's been a lot of comments on Facebook about charter. I myself have charter internet, and I just wanted to let the public know that Sean and I are working directly with the charter location that handles Riverbank. We are working with them. We've given them the dates that we've had the outages. They're investigating. They actually have found the problem and are working on it. And as we get information from them, I will be posting it on Facebook, on the Crossroads Facebook page, to keep the public informed on what we're doing. We're being pretty diligent by sending an email or talking with her every week to make sure this problem is resolved. Thank you.
Councilmember Campbell?
Yesterday in the Bee, there was an article about voting, and it was on the front page. And I'd just like to encourage you to talk to your neighbors, try to get them out to vote, because behind a democracy like ours, without the votes, you're powerless. And they're very important, and I don't think some people realize that. So if you get a chance, you might read that article. It was well done, involved the Catholic Church. They're involved in trying to just do some things with getting to voting, not on a religious point of view, just because they want more people out there doing it. So I think this is something that we all need to keep working on.
Councilmember Jones-Cruz?
I just wanted to remind you folks that Friday, downtown businesses will be hosting a sip and stroll event. It's kind of like a block party. The street will be closed from 6 to 9 Friday. Downtown businesses will be open a little bit later. There'll be a car club down here. And I heard some music might be happening. We have Pizza Plus will be open, and I think there'll be a food truck also. So I encourage everyone to come out and check out some of the downtown businesses. Should be a nice time in the to come down and spend your evening Friday night downtown here from 6 to 9. Hope to see you all there.
Vice Mayor?
Through the League of California Cities, I attended the end of the legislative session webinar. And this provided suggested legislation that was given to the governor for his signature, and also legislation that cities should write letters to, because they want him to oppose, because it takes away, again, we're talking about local control. And if you'd like more information on those legislative assembly bills or state Senate bills, you can go to the League of California Cities website. The new fall/winter activity guides are available. And don't forget, this weekend, Saturday, from 5 to 7:30 is the Christian food sharing. They're having their spaghetti dinner fundraiser. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no comments. We're going to go into closed session consisting of item 8.1, conference with real property negotiators pursuant to Government Code, Section 54956.8, property 062-031-005 through 007. Agency negotiator Sean Scully, City Manager. Property negotiator Amedes, Inc. Item 8.2, conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code 54957.6. Agency representative Sean Scully, City Manager. Employee organization Mid-Management Bargaining Unit. Item 8.3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. Significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Subdivision Bravo of Government Code 54956.9, one potential case. At this time, anyone from the public may comment on any of these items, and they may do so before we go into closed session. Do I have any public comment? Saying none, we are adjourned to closed session.
hard for me to have Arlene do everything.
All right, we convene the regular council and LRA board meeting. Report from closed session, item 9.1, report from closed session 8.1. Conference with real property negotiator, direction has been provided to staff. Item 9.2, report from closed session on item 8.2, conference with labor negotiator, mid-management bargaining unit, direction has been provided to staff. Item 9.3, report from closed session on item 8.3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, one potential case. Again, direction has been provided to staff. We now adjourn this meeting to reconvene, our next meeting is September 25th at 6 p.m.